Hey,
Hello.
Well, welcome.
Hello, welcome.
hello everybody. Good to
So
see
nice to
everyone.
see you.
I'm excited that we get to do this again. This is so awesome. And Chris, I'm excited to introduce you to some of my other friends and to learn more about what you're doing today. I appreciate you fitting us in the middle of your day.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what my day was. I was, just as excited about this that I was with what's because I'm actually in gown still. I just dropped it down so I could be, podcast webinar ready. Hello. Oh, but then when they
Good
say,
to
oh,
always be ready. You never know when you're going to be called.
and that's why I can just really quick. Okay, I'll be right back. And then I can check somebody. But to the unknowing viewer, until I have to do that, I'm just here in my casual dress, just digging a Friday at the office.
I
Hey.
love it. Awesome.
And where is your office? Where are you located?
Well, right now I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. And that's my home. That's where I've lived pretty much my whole life, except for the 4 years I went to Milwaukee for Marquette Dental School. My other practice, I have a primary practice, and then I do my general regular dentistry that I've been doing forever on my patients here at Madison Lakes Dental in Madison. And it's actually, what's so nice about it, I swear it's like 2 blocks from my house.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that's great.
And what's even more bizarre is that when all the swimming pools closed down in Madison, there's an outdoor swimming pool just next to the parking lot of this place. And I have a water polo team, and we've been struggling to find. They've closed all the pools, and all the gyms and everything. And I was walking out of here one day in September, and I heard all this splashing. I said, "Are there people in that pool over there?" Anyway, I come to find out they left that one pool in the whole city open, and the swim team was in there, all socially distanced. And I said, "Oh my gosh, if they've got water in that pool, my water polo team is coming and we're playing here." So I arranged it on Sundays. Up until like a week ago, we were playing water polo next door.
Wow.
I digress. You got to be careful, ladies. I digress.
It's all about the work-life balance. It sounds like you have that.
Isn't that amazing? And it's
Yeah.
all like so close to where I live. But my other practice is in Middleton, which is sort of like West Madison. And that's where that's the home of Victorious Dental, because that's the home of the healing and anti-cavity care that I say the drill is gone. You remember you guys are too young to remember this, but B.B. King, very famous blues artist, had a song called "The Thrill Is Gone, the Thrill Is Gone Away." I said the thrill is gone, the thrill is gone away. So my song is "The Drill Is Gone." The thrill is gone, and it's a happy song, not a blues song. So I'm going to rewrite that song. But at my other practice, Victorious Dental, look at that. That'll be my logo. No, Victorious Dental it's a no drill dental office. There's no drill. It's I'm very excited about it. I love it. It's for all that I've done in all my years of dentistry. It's a place where I can actually focus on the oral systemic, because my honest belief is for all that we care about oral systemic and and I've been in AOSH, American Academy for Oral Systemic Health.
I'm going to pause you for just a second, and I want to give you the full introduction before you get started on all this stuff, because you deserve the introduction. So let me do that, and then we are going to continue this conversation, because I knew having you on would be a lot of fun for all of us and all of our viewers for sure. If you don't know who Dr. Chris Kammer is, he is a friend of mine. He is the past president and founder of the American Academy of Oral Systemic Health. Dr. Kammer has worked and been presented at many dental conferences, seminars, and is a published leader in many dental journals. He's also on the technology team for the Dental Products Report. In recent years, he's been passionate educator and in the media and on the professional forums. And so he also has had the opportunity to work with over 200 dental offices, basically as an oral systemic consultant. And as he already has alluded to, he did audition for the American Idol, and he's known as the Rocking Dentist. So, and that has had over 25 million views. So we not only have an amazing clinician, we have a very, very well-rounded gentleman. So my first question to you, which you've already started to talk about, really was, I just wanted to—
Wait a minute, did I already start talking? Because here's the deal. You open up the gate and you let me out, and then all heck breaks loose.
But you do realize you're on the call with 4 hygienists who are very good at directing their dentists.
Rein them in.
We can kind of shut it down and kind of move you around. So we will do our best job to keep you.
I expect a lot of that. That's okay. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I already told you, I love hygienists. I support hygienists. I think hygienists are the ones that are driving hard the oral systemic message. So was that I didn't give you a chance to ask your one question. You only get one, Carrie. You know.
You get one.
Yeah, I'll try to make it good. So my question for you is, as you kind of already alluded, so this new practice that you have, there really is no drill. Is that the truth? Like there's no drill in the practice?
See, I want someone to come in and investigate me and try to find a drill in my office. There is no drill in my office. Chris, why? How can you do dentistry without a drill? Who said that? Was that you, Anna Louise? Did you say that?
Yes, I would ask you that question. How do you do dentistry without a drill?
Well, why do we need a drill in the first place? If we were rock solid with preventive care, we'd never need a drill. Maybe you would need a drill once in a while for a broken tooth and maybe some cosmetics. Hey, I love cosmetic dentistry. My father founded the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. So the drill will always have its place. I'm not trying to ban the drill, but in my office, my commitment to healing your tooth decay and to keeping you from that dastardly drill is I don't have one in the place. So those other places that do have drills, there may come a time when someone might need to be referred out to those places. Just so happens I'm working at one now. but that's my point. I'm so committed in my business model, in my practice model. So I want people to have the comfort of knowing that I'm never going to default to the drill. I'm opening up a brand new lane in dentistry that if you start in this lane, you may never need to go to the other lane, which is 99.99% of all dental practices.
So what made you want to practice this way?
Oh, that's a great question, Anna Louise. Wow. Did you have your coffee this morning?
I did.
Good for you.
It helps, you know.
So let me go. Thank you for asking that, Anna Louise, because let me go back. I am one of those weird people that not weird. I've always loved being a dentist. And the reason I've loved being a dentist is because when I was a kid, I didn't want to go to medical school. I figured I don't want to deal with life and death. That seemed like too much. And to be truthful, I heard you had to get better grades to get into medical school. And I wasn't sure I could do that whole straight A thing. Like I got into dental school with A's and B's and maybe a good test score. Like I digress, right? Once again, let me out of the gate. But I love dentistry. And the reason I love dentistry is because every year I'm in dentistry, something that is mind-blowing, that is exciting about dentistry happens in that year that outweighed the last mind-blowing thing that happened last year. So let me go back 20 years ago when I discovered ozone for myself. And I learned that ozone, which is basically a hyperexcited oxygen molecule that spits off like it's an O3, and oxygen is stable as O2. And so when it's O3, it's unstable. So it shoots an oxygen atom off of it. And what it does is it drives oxygen down into the tooth through the tubules, killing the bacteria that's in decay, basically halting and healing decay, or at least allowing the healing process to start. So I was fascinated 20 years ago that you could possibly heal tooth decay. And so for 20 years, I've been doing that. For the earlier years that I was doing it, people would find out about me. I was probably the only one in the country that had a Cavo Heal Zone machine. And all respect and thanks to Julian Holmes, may he rest in peace, who taught me this at a dental meeting. And then, so I started healing tooth decay. All of my kids, all 4 of my kids, never had a cavity till they left the home. In other words, and then they're off and running. It's like if they come back for a checkup or something, like, well, that's great. And you are who again? Oh, you're my kid, right? Well, it's, you know, but they actually come around a lot because sometimes they need, you know, money. But listen, let's get back to the ozone. It was a modality for healing tooth decay that blew my mind. I didn't even believe in it because I said, no, if that's for real, that's got to be the most amazing thing ever. Like, you mean people wouldn't necessarily have to have their teeth drilled? And I remember at that meeting, I was in an elevator with Ray Bertolotti. Anyone ever heard of Ray Bertolotti? He's goes back a ways, but he was one of the #1 cosmetic and bonding experts. I don't hear much about him or from him today, but back, you know, 10 years ago, he was a big, so I knew he was an expert. And I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I will always tell you that, but I know smart people. And I asked Ray in an elevator, I said, Ray, is that ozone stuff like for real? Is it really like the oxygen can penetrate the tubule and kill the bacteria and decay and halt the decay, and you can remineralize decay through the tooth? He says, oh yeah, it's real. And it's like, that's kind of almost all I needed. And so I got myself one of those ozone machines. I said, if dentistry can be this kind and humane to people, that's who I want to be in the dental space.
You really wanted to offer services to the client that was about healing them and going after the cause of the problem was really sort of your direction.
Mind-blowing healing, not a mechanical answer. A mechanical answer to a tooth decay is let's amputate that tooth structure. And you know, the minute you put a drill into a tooth, it's spinning hundreds of thousands of RPMs, right? And it sends out microfractures into the tooth. And you know, you take out more decay than is actually there. So you actually end up taking out a lot of healthy tooth structure. And when I went to dental school, they used to teach extension for prevention, meaning like, they're going to get a decay in that groove or a pit. Might as well just burr out that too. You know, amputate a little extra tooth structure, because for sure you're going to save them the trouble of coming back when that finally decays. I'm like, that's not. So that's what we learned. Now we don't have to even touch the drill to their teeth. And I thought that was so amazing. And people would discover me from all over the country, and I'd see patients from Texas and from the East Coast and from 2 states above and 2 states below. And it was the early days of the internet, and people would find me. So that was mind-blowing. So I've always been passionate about minimally invasive or even non-invasive care. And I think that's the big shift that's going to go on in dentistry, especially now that after having been in this space for so long, I wanted to open a practice with no drill, because I also believed in the minimally invasive decay treatments of air abrasion and laser, because you can just, you know, remove the cavity. But now with SDF, silver diamine fluoride, you can heal the decay. You don't have to cut it out. So I was always planning, for years I've been planning a no drill dental office, and it was going to be laser, air abrasion, ozone, and that's all it was going to be. And I thought, wow, that'll be cool. But then in that period of time, I discovered SDF, and I'm thinking like, wow, SDF just might be the thing that I can lean on heavily and still do those other things. But at this point, I'm not even doing laser or ozone. Oh no, I'm not ozone. I'm not doing laser or air abrasion, because I have a model that is so timely right now. There's no aerosol. So the minute you get an air abrasion in there, you're going to need your suction, and you're going to be creating these clouds of stuff, right? Where the virus could be hanging out in. So to me, at this point in time, I'm the most non-invasive, healing, anti-cavity, non-aerosol dentist in the world, maybe. I don't have stats on that, but I think this is the new lane. And so, did that answer your question, Carrie? I mean, because I've always been fascinated about healing cavities. I've always been different. Does that surprise anybody?
How are most of your clients or patients, and also other dental professionals, how are they responding to this concept?
So I think they kind of scratch their head and just go, like in the AOSH world, I gave a presentation, and Carrie, your dad was there, and actually Carrie's dad was probably the most fascinated by the whole thing. He came up to me afterwards, talked to me. I steered him towards the book, which is called Smart Dental Care, Silver Modified Atraumatic Restorative Technique, compiled by Stephen Duffin and a lot of other people in this very progressive, very healing, very anti-cavity space. So, but I always thought maybe the thing I wanted to tell my AOSH colleagues, because I've been, I founded AOSH. I was the president. I've been on the board for years and years. I'm still actively involved. And all along the way, I see dentists and doctors struggling to work together. Yes, in 10 years, have some done it phenomenally well? Yeah, like, maybe they were married, or, the doctor and the dentist. It's still a big, big struggle. And I also think for dentists that want to pursue, now for all you hygienists out there that are fascinated and love the whole oral systemic issue, because it does add so much weight to what you're doing, to how you help people. But you need the support of your dentist, and sometimes it's hard to get that. Let's see, where was I going on this?
It's so different.
It's so different. In the oral systemic space, it is my belief, and it might not be a popularly held belief, that I think I need to get away from the drill. I need to get away from the cosmetic dentistry. I need to get away from the extractions and the root canals, because this new lane is a new lane for medicine as well. Now, walk with me a little bit on this, because if you come into my lane at the earliest age, and I can keep you from getting tooth decay, or if you have the earliest signs of tooth decay, and I can heal it with SDF and ozone, and remineralize it with glass ionomer cements, and get them on probiotics, and on and on and on. If I can keep them in that lane, the natural transition is to keep them in that lane systemically, meaning that if I can get the family and the child growing up with this mindset of, you don't have to get sick. You don't have to get tooth decay. You don't have to have a drill put to your teeth. If I can keep them in that space, then the next space is the wellness, functional medicine, integrative medicine piece. And I'm teaming up with Craig Bax, who used to be the president of the Illinois Medical Association, who has similarly turned his back on medical procedures to be in the Bale-Donine space, the space where you're preventing people from having heart attacks and strokes and reducing their risk for diabetes. So I think the two of us have this concept, which I believe is victorious, because who's winning the battle to keep you from dental surgery and medical surgery? Do you want to be the victor? Oh no, the victim, excuse me. Do you want to be the victim, or do you want to be the victor? Do you want to be victorious? Now, does any of what I'm saying make sense? Because I think starting out in the dental arena, keeping them healthy, transitioning them to the medical space with a diet, nutrition, stress reduction, exercise, and never have to need a procedure in the medical world. So that's kind of it. Now, am I crazy?
No, I think that hygienists particularly are really on board with this. They're looking at this as an opportunity to, if they're independent, market themselves. And all of us that work, if some of you are working within a general practice, this is a great avenue, because I think we're on board. But I have found some resistance, particularly with the dentists, more than with the dental hygienists. Right. So I feel like we are still paving this path, but there aren't as many people that are following it. And there's a lot of people that are out there for naysaying, but it doesn't hurt to try this. Like, you're not losing anything by trying to practice this way.
Carrie, I've always lived in the space of not complete acceptance, and so I'm comfortable in that space. I'm probably the right guy to be pushing this forward, because I don't care what other people think about me. I never have. And back in the day, to promote my practice, I was the only one that was advertising when advertising was a bad word. No advertising. It's like, well, to me, advertising might be the only education that somebody gets in the dental space. I can use my advertising to let people know why I'm different, what I have to offer, how they can be healthier, happier, wealthier, but not monetary, but wealthier in the sense that if you're happy and you're healthy, that's wealth beyond your wildest dreams. So I'm comfortable in this space. Now, I know that even the American Dental Association, as recently as like about a year or two ago, questioned the whole concept of oral systemic with a guest editorial that basically said maybe it's too early to be talking about the oral systemic connection. And they went on to say, isn't it enough to just want a healthy mouth? And that's when I just about lost it. I just about lost it. But I also had a confirmation that what I wanted to start years before, which was AOSH, American Academy for Oral Systemic Health, needed a voice. That oral systemic message needed a voice, because at that time, 10 years ago, nobody was talking about it, not in the dental space. And I figured like, well, I don't see the ADA doing it. And to me, the ADA always seems to want to keep everybody in the same pack. We don't want anyone to stand out too far from the pack, because then everyone in the pack is going to go, hey, we don't like that person that's saying this thing, that making them trying to set themselves apart and look better or different, or we need to all be homogenous. It's like, you can't do that. Yeah. So, I mean, even as powerful as the oral systemic message is, and then the ADA, they were doing just the exact opposite of what we've been doing. So there's that. In this space of healing decay, I feel really confident in this space, and here's why. If someone says, I don't know if it works, or it turns teeth black, or whatever, it's like, well, first of all, coming at me with this, it's like, I want the person to argue. But in fact, if next time you get somebody that's really anti what I'm doing, and I will, that's the conversation I want to have. Because, all right, but let's talk about the ADA. On the one hand, I'm disappointed with some of the things they've done. On the other hand, I'm very impressed that they have this non-restorative guidelines, which you would think every dentist should be looking at first. Well, it's like, well, it seems like the best kind of surgery would be no surgery. I think we would all agree that if there was a way to fix some ailment we had, that the non-surgical option would always be our first choice, right? So bless the ADA for putting out their non-restorative guidelines, and they have SDF in there. And so I appreciate that. And so I can hang my hat to some extent on the ADA's recommendation. Let's go farther. People go, well, it's not FDA approved. Well, it's FDA approved. SDF is FDA approved for safety to be used as a desensitizer. And even better than that, it's been given a classification of breakthrough technology, meaning that they got to fast track it because of its benefit to humanity. You don't get a breakthrough technology classification from the FDA if you're just another whitening material or whatever, right? No, this is a breakthrough technology that's going to do a great amount of good for mankind and womankind too. And so they're going to fast track it to the market. They're going to fast track its acceptance. So I got the FDA on my side. I got the ADA on my side. Who else could I have on my side? How about hygienists?
Hygienists are very interested.
Hygienists are on my side.
Yes.
But I'll throw in one other little organization, kind of a worldwide thing. We've been hearing about them a little bit. The World Health Organization recommends this care in times of a pandemic because there's no aerosol. So I got three significant heavy hitters and then little old me. But I'll go even further. Steve Duffin, who put together the book, Smart Dental Care, which everybody should get. That's the Bible of minimally invasive care and healing anti-cavity care. He pedodontist by trade, 10 years ago, regularly bringing kids into the hospital operating room to do heavy duty, excavation and amputation of tooth structure and stainless steel crowns and all that under deep sedation. Since he has become a pioneer in the SDF space of anti-cavity treatments, healing tooth decay. He hasn't taken one more child into the hospital operating room for what is a very common procedure for pedodontists. And actually, for some of them, it's a big part of their bread and butter for their practice. I'm trying to disrupt that. So I stand before you today to make that go away, as does Steve Duffin, because he's already done it. When I find out something like that, like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I might be the most passionate, because when I find out somebody's doing that, then I say, hey, other people can do that. This is what should be done. And so let's talk about Steve in his area where he practices. Yeah, he's not the pediatric dentist's friend out there because of what he's doing, because he's basically stuck a knife into their business model, and that's a problem. And ADA is going to have a problem with that too. So I can hardly wait till I get to the point where I'm using the ADA to bolster my argument. But then all the people in the ADA go, hey, ADA, you got to shut this guy down. But I'm going to go, but look at your non-restorative guidelines, you ADA member.
And you know what, Chris, in Ontario, particularly where I practice, this is something that really is readily available. We have codes, we've got ways we can structure it. And I think it really has to gain strength. And what you said with reducing, there's no aerosols produced, the way that it can help our patients, the way we can get them out of pain, we can reduce the worry, we can reduce the fear. I think that it's really, SDF is such, did I say this right? I get that acronym mixed up all the time.
Yeah.
Did I say right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's a big area of interest for hygienists in Canada because it's in their scope of practice.
Well, thank you, hygienists of Canada.
But practically speaking, can you give us some advice on how that actually can be put into practice because we have both. We have independent dental hygienists.
I know you do.
And then, right?
Yes.
So it's a very exciting, SDF is very exciting for us. Is there any kind of practical tips you can give us as how we can actually start to incorporate that if it's not already in our practice?
I would say get into independent practice of hygiene as soon as possible if that's something you want to do, because it's hard to be a warrior, and a bit of a rebel to bring this to the people. But it is so right for the people that if I were to go down in flames trying to do all of this, it's worth it. I have grandchildren now. I will not allow a drill to ever be put to my grandchildren's teeth. And if I treated the world like that, and that's how we all should treat the world, let's do that. So I don't know if I have the answer of what a hygienist would do in Canada, but if they have the ability to be an independent practice, then and Julia DiNardo is
she's on today.
Yeah,
She's
here with us.
She's on. She's one of our famous independent practitioners.
She's a rebel, and she is a genius and doing what's right. And so she's a rock star. And so I'm in awe of what she has done. So it's really exciting to even, cross paths with her as we have over the years. So maybe she's already created the business model for this. But I mean, I think that people need to know that this option exists. And I don't think they're getting that. And I think when they hear about it the first time, then they think is that really real? Or the minute they start talking about it and it takes just one dentist to say, I don't know, to put doubt in people's minds. So you've got to be rebellious. You've got to be progressive, forward thinking. You got to, if that's your gig, if that's what you want to do, if that's who you want to be. Now, if you don't want to be an independent hygienist, then it's a matter of walking, taking your dentist, holding your dentist's hand in the most kindest, caring way and say, I have discovered a really beneficial way to make your crowns last longer. They'll like to hear that. Because here's the thing, no dentist wants to, well, on the one hand, oh my gosh, I could go in so many different directions here. But because one of my patients that came to see me for a second opinion was given an estimate of $15,000 to have a number of her crowns replaced. Why? Starting to decay at the margin. How do you fix that? Redo the crown. No, not necessarily. let's SDF that area. Let's put some glass ionomer in there if there's a gap or a hole. Let's do everything we can to not have to replace that crown. All right, so once again, this is sticking a knife and twisting into the business model of dentistry, and dentists are going to have a very hard time with it. Let me give you a little history lesson, because my father, rest his soul, Jack Kammer, founder of the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry. I said that once, but it's worth saying twice. He was practicing in the 60s when fluoride was becoming a big thing. And do you know that dentists at that time, that fluoride was controversial because they were thinking like, well, what if we don't have any cavities to fill? Real, that's real. That's not fake news, that's real news. And I think dentistry, it's 50, 60 years later, I think dentistry, there's a chance it may respond the same way.
I think too, there is money in prevention. It's not about money. Like, I work clinically. It's not about always the production, but we can get loyal clients. We can get referring clients. We can have those cases. And for me, I love going to work and sleeping at night knowing I've made a difference and I've helped them out, because there are many people too that their kids' mouths or even adults' mouths are blowing out. We've got people with Alzheimer's and people that can't look after their mouths. These are the individuals that really we should target. And, you know, you can find out more information, and bringing that aspect to it is the key, because people, and dentists in particular, from my experience, and no scientific background or data behind it, but they feel like this isn't going to help fill the chair time. And it can, if you present it in the right way. And it's about caring for that whole individual. And it's not just about the procedures we do. You talked about it's nutrition, it's diet, it's healthcare. And as a dental hygienist, that's all that we can do. That's all within our scope of practice. And so for me to practice this sort of way is so exciting, because it's not just pick and flick. I'm actually doing more than that, and I'm able to show it. And that's my rant. I always have a rant on every show, so okay, carry out.
Good. And I love
it. Oh, sorry.
I love it for the little ones too, right? Because I mean, for myself, I have a 6-year-old. Luckily, great oral hygiene. I'm a little type A in that area, but what if she did? What if I went to the dentist and she had all this interproximal decay?
Yeah.
And I was told I'd have to put her under. You know, if I didn't know about SDF, or I wasn't told about SDF, and then 10 years later I found out about it, I'd be really upset that wasn't given to me as an option.
Right. And so is it even, I mean, when is someone going to throw it out there? I mean, should we even start using the word malpractice? I mean, when do we start talking about that? Because, and but Beth, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because boy, my heart is for the little babies, the little children, and they don't have a voice. They can't go get a second opinion. They've got to do what mama and daddy bring them in. And if they go to some dentist that all they've got is a drill, then they see every cavity as a reason to pick up the drill and the shot probably. And so the SDF, minimally invasive, smart dentistry, once again, silver modified, atraumatic restorative technique, which involves SDF, glass ionomer cements. It's so kind. It's so humane. Why is dentistry at the top of everyone's most hated or most feared, places to go? And we can change that, and we're going to change that. And you ladies here are going to change that with all the work you're doing to get the word out to your interested members here. And so it's going to change. Is the change going to be easy? I don't think so.
No.
But I'm always open to have someone come at me with their opposite point of view. But I really think it's that. So when we talk about the healthcare crisis, this is going to sound wacky, but to me, this is the answer to the United States healthcare crisis. We can't afford our healthcare. Right now, we're focused on other things, but it's going to come back. I mean, well, the pandemic alone. I don't know. I guess we just keep printing money, and we always have money for the things we need. Okay, if that's the case, I don't know when that all blows up in our face. But we will be bankrupt as a nation spending money on the health care that we try to get, which is really health repair and procedures that are required, because we didn't get into this space to start with. Where are our mentors? Where are our celebrity spokespeople? Where is the rockin' dentist? Oh, wait a minute.
That's there.
It's me. Oh,
So Chris,
yeah.
how would you suggest, if you're working in a traditional model, what advice would you give to us to start this journey, or ways to approach employers or other team members? Because, in all the practices I've worked with many different hygienists. We
Yes.
don't always see eye to eye. So how do we try to bring this forth so we can get more people involved in it?
Well, first of all, get SDF into the office flat out, because you can use it for sensitivity.
Mhm.
So make sure you've got it there. I would say that the discussion you want to have with your colleague hygienist and with your dentist that you work for is that if this was me, and I think that if this was you or your baby or your grandchild, would you not want the most healing, non-invasive, atraumatic, kind care, healing care possible for your loved ones?
Mhm.
And the answer is going to be yes. So if the next part is, well, I don't think it works, say, well, there are many out there that promote it, the ADA, the FDA, the whatever, and there's books been written. Would you like, let's watch a webinar together. For Jeanette McDonald has a number of them on a Dental Town that you could watch there, and you could also go to YouTube and watch a lecture by John Frischella, who was interviewed by Howard Ferran. And there's some eye-opening stuff out there that will open up your colleagues' eyes. And I think, and I believe that in the deepest part of everybody's soul and heart is a really good, warm, loving, caring person. That's going to win out in the end. Even if it doesn't fit a financial model, because I know that, my goal is to have $1 million practice. And I hate to talk about money, but I live in the real world. I want $1 million practice. Number one reason is I want to show dentists that they can put the drill down and be healing and have $1 million practice. Now, is it all going to come from SDF treatments? No. But the oral systemic screening that I do is a $400 panel that includes carotid artery screening and blood testing for A1C and C-reactive protein. And I do the saliva tests as well. And I do a visceral fat screening on an in-body electrical unit that can assess your body mass index and your visceral fat. And once again, visceral fat is the fat that clings to your organs. It's not in the subcutaneous fat. You could be thin or heavy and still have unhealthy levels of subcutaneous fat, and that's the belly fat, but it's clinging to your organs, and it's raising your blood pressure, and it's making it hard for your body to function. But we're very adaptable. The human being is a very, very strong living creature, and we can go a long, long time before we finally keel over and die.
Dr. Kramer, there's a lot of staining involved, right? So how do we deal with, let's say we have a elderly client who's living in a facility and needs assistance for brushing and ends up having multiple areas of decay. I mean, we've all seen this unfortunate situation. Then, are we creating then another aesthetic problem for them?
Great. Anna Louise, that coffee, great question. You're on the ball. No, so thank you. Thank you for that question. They don't care in the nursing home facilities. But let's just imagine in our minds, what does that root caries look like anyway? It's darn near black to start with. Or if it's decay at a margin, and a lot of margins show silver, there's a dark metal line there as well, possibly. Okay, but so let's first of all start with that. First step is heal the decay. Treat it, heal it, halt it, heal it. And I'm not finding people object to it. And I will show you pictures of people that have walked out of my office with their smile looking like this. They were happy to not have it drilled, to not have the tooth pulled or crown done. And so that's the dark side of SDF, is that yes, it does turn decay dark. However, it's also a diagnostic tool. because if it's not decayed, it won't stain other than your face or your hands, keep it off the face. Vaseline on the face, or you're going to give them freckles they didn't want for a few days. But it's only a few days. It's only a few days, and it's not harmful. But
how do you have that conversation with your patients when they come in? Like, do they know what they're coming into when they book with you, or how does that whole conversation come up?
Kathleen, this is one of the things that I thought about before. I said, am I just going to be in conversation with everybody all day long because this is a new thing and they don't understand it? And it's like, that's not going to be very productive use of my time. Yet there are going to be these questions and there are going to be these discussions that have to happen. So Kathleen, what I did is I tried to stack the deck in my favor. I said, let's make them come through a portal of sorts. Like once they express interest, like even in my ads in the newspaper, I pretty much spelled it out, what it is and what it is not. And then if they wanted to become a patient, I said, if you want more information, go to my website, which is thedrillisgone.com. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks. And then if you go down my website, there's a bunch of news items that just scroll down. It's a one-pager. But if you don't scroll down and you just hit the Learn More button, you will go to my 30-minute recorded webinar presentation. That's just a PowerPoint presentation where I walk you through what it is. So I want people to come in preheated to want what I'm delivering and not to argue with me, or I heard someone say it's not good. It's like, and even better than that, once they've been preheated by either what they read in my advertisement or what they read on my website, or if they took the link and went to my PowerPoint presentation, or even if they've been to my Facebook page where they've learned all these things as well, even then, I'm not going to see them in my office till they sign the waiver. There is a waiver, which is more like an educational, informational sheet that says everything once again, but now they've read it and signed it. Am I doing too much to bring them into the door, understanding and knowing what I'm doing? No, you cannot. People can just, some people go, I want that. I don't need to know that stuff. Just do it. There's those people. Then there's the ones that really want to know every little bit about it. And then you want to, be okay, honest, truthful story. You guys are not going to believe this, but honestly, this was my first patient too. And it was very disheartening. After I set up my no drill clinic and put a tiny little ad in, and somebody came forward and I did the treatment, and it was a perfect case. I was so excited. I said, I'm going to save this guy. He had a lot of root decay. And so I did the treatment, and I warned him, I said, it's going to turn black. He didn't care about that. He didn't care about the black and anything. Next day, he emails me, wants his money back. Why? Because you're not going to believe this. He says, I didn't understand that there was fluoride in it. And there are the anti-fluoride people out there. And I said, well, Mr. Jones, not his real name, I did say that it was fluoride. I had it in 2 emails that I sent to you that you read. And there's the release and all of that. He goes, yeah, but I thought you said Florida.
Oh dear.
Silver diamine, Florida.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lord have mercy. So here's the thing: when you're a pioneer, you don't want your first attempt at what you think is going to be life-changing for the world to blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And so because when you're paving the way, you got to deal with all the things that others are going to deal with, so you can have the experience to share with them so that they don't lose hope or lose faith.
Right.
So my dog is here. I got to feed him. I'll be right back.
At the office.
No, it's not my dog. Okay, that's okay.
Can you clear up something for me?
I just want to finish the story.
Sure.
So we did. Oh my gosh, the steps and the emails, and I'll share this with anybody. We did email after email where I was telling him this is not like systemic fluoride. This is a topical fluoride. And I showed him the study that said there's no systemic uptake of fluoride in your body. Here's the study. Here's the published thing. Didn't work for him. Finally, he wanted his money back from Square. And then I said, I could just give him his money back and be over with it. But no, I feel I need to do this for everyone who's coming behind me.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I had it in for this guy, because this guy would tell you, Dr. Kammer cares about me. He's very nice to me. He speaks well. He's very knowledgeable, blah, blah, blah. I just don't, want his fluoride. Anyway, so I won with my Square. He contested it with Square, and then there was one of those things where they take the money back and then Square holds it till they resolve the issue. They resolved it in my favor. Okay, end of story. So anyway, I just had to share.
That's not a nice start though. But you know what?
Not a nice start.
I love that you have because I talk a lot about the experience. So it's like the before experience and what that could look like, and then the during, and then the after, how we stay connected with our clients. But the before is so important before they come and see you, to educate them, to let them know what to expect, so that they know they're already educated by the time they come and see you. You don't have to try and sell yourself, right? And it's like they're coming to see you for that reason. So that's great.
I always, and I would, when I get to the level where I have a receptionist, I always feel for the front desk people that have to answer all the questions, and they're doing the same thing every day. Yeah, it's if you're doing something different and people don't understand it. I envisioned the day when I had a reception. I says, well, have you seen the web presentation? Well,
Right.
Mr. Jones, I would like you to go watch that. And then, or if you want to scroll down on the web page and read some of those articles and some of those affirmations and acceptances from the ADA and the FDA and the World Health Organization and on, take a look at that. I'm just trying to streamline the process as much as possible. So people, there's always that, just get them in, that's not my practice. I don't want to just get everybody in, because I'm doing something different, and I don't want to create distraught and disappointed people in the process. I would rather have them learn this is not the right place for them along the way. But how could this not be the right place? For crying out loud, I don't have a drill and I don't have a shot and there's no aerosol. What else?
And just think of all those memories, when you talk to those people that have had really bad childhood memories, you're changing that for so many people, that they're not gonna experience the horrible things of putting your child out and getting, having that surgery and the pain and all that. So that's, you're changing their path, which is
I
really
hope
awesome.
so. And as I have begun, yes, I am absolutely doing that. And it's fun to be in this space. It's fulfilling. And I don't miss, clearly I had all of the other traditional highs and lows of a dental career. But this is what really has me excited and passionate. And I really think it's the answer. And every day it gets a little bit closer to the dream of the person that's, the best health you're ever going to be is you're going to start out at the dentist at age 1, and they're going to start talking to you about staying in the healthy lane till you get into that space where you're now into the wellness. And I've got it all figured out, and it's not coming necessarily from this brain, but some of the people that I know and my partners and my colleagues. In fact, Canada, I'm the official, I'm close to the official dentist for shapeupunderstanding.org. It is a free curriculum of health. They're teaching it to ages up to age 7, and then from ages 8 to 13. It's an entire complete curriculum of health. They're going through the Phi-Ed teachers to bring it into that space. Canada just signed on. The whole country of Canada has signed on to this. So yay, Canada. Oh, Canada. I don't know how to sing that song, but I know it starts like that, I think. No disrespect. I love my Canadian brothers and sisters. In fact, my sister lives in Canada right now. So,
Chris, can I ask you a question? We've had a few questions come in on the Q&A. And so 2 of them were, one was particular, how often are you applying the fluoride? Is it every 6 months? How do you discuss that with your clients?
Okay, that's a great question. And a lot of, so I'm just going to go to the source, like the guy that's been doing it the most, because there's a mindset, maybe even insurance, like we'll allow, every 6 months or something. I don't buy that. I believe in front loading for success. What do I mean by front loading? I want to get those 3 treatments of SDF on as soon as possible, but not all in one visit. Personally, I span them out a week apart. Could it be a month apart? Could it be 6 months apart? Well, you know, this is not a magic bullet. This is not 100% guaranteed success. So you want to hedge your bets and front load the healing anti-cavity care. Get it done within a 2-week period of time. So I like, you know, do it on day 1, day 7, and day 14, you know, basically, you know, in those. And so now you've front loaded it. And then if you need to even go beyond that, now you can put your glass ionomer over it or seal it or fill it if there's a little hole there, fill that in with some glass ionomer cement. And then do that, and then get them on, you know, then do your regular fluoride care that is probably covered by insurance every 6 months or who knows what. I was talking to my colleague in Ohio, and they pay twice as much in Ohio for every SDF application as they do in Wisconsin. Wisconsin will allow up to 4 SDF treatments in a year. For a special case. Well, rampant decay is out there, and that's a special case. So there's plenty of that I see that is that falls into that category. But I like to at least do 3 SDFs, and then I will do afterwards. I will then do, and it doesn't have to be done this way, but to get insurance coverage, they sometimes don't like the SDF and the glass ionomer done in the same, or the final filling done in the same visit. Okay, whatever.
So
Beth, do you know anything about the codes? I don't know what the code for
D1354, D1.
Yeah, that'll be
SDF.
US. Yes. So the Canadian.
Well, I'm sorry. Let's, you know, for my Canadian brothers and sisters, I'm going to hand it over to you for
Yeah, no problem. Yes. So there is a code for it in Canada, and that is 00605 for those who are asking about that.
So what type of clients actually are attracted to your techniques and the way you practice this way? So what types of people are automatically seeking you out?
I think some people in the holistic space,
Right.
although they don't like fluoride. So there's a way you can treat without fluoride. If they absolutely refuse fluoride, just use the aqueous silver without fluoride is a way to treat as well. Yeah, and I'm reaching out to my patients have been either of the very young or more in the older demographic. Like they're maybe not working anymore, so they don't have the work insurance, and so now they need an option because I don't want to get 3 more new crowns. Is there a way you can heal that? So that's kind of what I'm finding.
Dr. Kammer, I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second. I just got some clarification. So there's actually an independent hygiene code, just in case there's going to be more people asking. So if you are in general practice, you follow the ODA fee guide. So that code is actually 13601. And for those asking who are in independent practice, that's going to be 00606 or 00666. So that's some clarification there.
Chris, can you also tell us again what the US code is? There was another question that came in about the US code.
It's D1. Okay, wait a minute. D1354. I put it in I type it in so often. I have to default to the memory in my finger. Let's see, it's D1. Yeah, D1354.
Thank
I
you.
have memory in my fingers. I could just leave my brain at home and I could probably, no, I don't know. All right. So do we have some more questions? How are we doing?
There was a question about, do you offer testing and pH? So we're coming close to the end, but do you want to just highlight a few of those little aspects?
Yes, testing, you know, you want to also make sure that you stack the deck in their favor once they leave your care. It's not about like, I just touched you with my magic SDF wand 3 times and put the glass ionomer and now you're free and clear. You still want to be practicing all the healthy things. You want to be talking about diet. Why is your yes, test for acidity, test for the microbiology. I do a lot of the microbiology testing I do is periopathogens, but we also test for the saliva pathogens as well that are involved in decay. So yes, that's a part of it. But I don't want somebody who's new to this to be dissuaded, like, well, that I got to come in and do this so exactly right. Listen, when Steve Duffin goes to Ethiopia and he's treating hundreds of kids, that at least 50% of them have tooth pain that day, and he gives them treatments of the SDF only, comes back 6 months later and none of them have tooth pain.
Amazing.
That's a miracle. So and some people go, well, I don't know, that SDF's kind of third world care. We're above that. BS. That is the healing, humane care that this world needs right now. It's that non-invasive healing care that is humane, it's kind, it's drill-free, it's shot-free. Good God, please do it for the babies and do it for everybody else. So.
Beth, is that a lot of the questions? I think we've answered a lot of them. I know there was quite a bit of interaction through this webinar, which we are very excited about. Is there anything else there that you can see?
Just, I think that educating our clients is one thing, but I think there's still some unknowns for us as clinicians. So for instance, when you're using something like SDF, are you using it more just on the incipient decay, or are you using it on advanced decay? Big,
bad, nasty, advanced decay. If I don't sense that there's any pulpal involvement, or honestly, you sometimes don't know if the bacteria from that very, very deep decay that looks like it's knocking on the door of the pulp, you don't know if bacteria got in there. What you want to see after all that treatment is a nice little defined line of protection between the decay and the pulp. So my feeling there is, let's keep going on a healing path till we can't go any further. And what would that be? Possibly toothache pain, an infection, an abscess. But I'm going to trust in my ability to heal that decay, take it as far as I can. You got to realize one thing, that a lot of kids never get a chance to even see a dentist, and they have those go all the way to the pulp and then infect it and fall out. And sometimes they do fine. But when we get a chance to intervene, let's go in with a healing mindset.
And aside from I know we've talked a lot about the staining, but are there any other precautions that we should be telling our clients
Silver
about?
allergy, very few people might have a silver allergy. So that should be something that is addressed on the waiver, the release, the form. So there's that. Okay. And I always, anyone ever go to the fair and get a henna tattoo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's sort of the way I describe it. Like, look, if I get a drop on your gum, or you're worried, or a little new freckle on your face, it's like a henna tattoo. It's going to go away in a few days. It's not permanent. It's harmless.
Okay. No, that's very, very helpful.
And here's the other thing. The other thing is, like, well, what am I going to do if I've got black teeth in front and I don't want my baby looking like that? Then you want to do what is called a Hall crown. And you can non-invasively, you can place preformed crowns over the teeth that are lined with glass ionomer cement. Done. Make it look beautiful. Listen, I grew up in the cosmetic dentistry space. This should almost be a gift to all you cosmetic dentists out there and teams. Right, you've now healed the decay. Now make it look pretty. That's what you do. That's what I did forever and still do. And maybe there's another discussion we could have about Hall crowns, but that is a crown, a preformed crown that you can place right over the existing crown without drilling it. Once you've healed it with your SDF and cement, and you're done. Now I've oversimplified it, but it's basically that.
Well, I want to thank you on behalf of the RDH View for joining us today. You have been entertaining, educational, and all the rest. And, we've covered a lot of topics through this. I know we have an upcoming webinar with you through auravital.com next Tuesday that you'll actually be going through a PowerPoint presentation. But, you've really highlighted a lot and given us a lot to think about with SDF, because it's about going after the cause of the problem, treating it at the source, and then there will be restorative, as you just talked about, putting crowns, putting fillings, putting everything on top of it that will help build the practice. But if you want more information about that, reach out to the reps in your area. There's lots of choices for it, but it's such a great product. So I would like to thank you very much on behalf of The View. Kathleen, do you want to inform some of our viewers about some of the upcoming courses we have coming on with RDHU?
Certainly. Okay, so this Saturday, tomorrow, we have Adapting to Change with Anna Louise, and which is a fabulous course. It's sponsored by Cinca. And Anna Louise presented this after just practicing for a few weeks, and it was a real hit. So people have asked to see where she's at now after practicing for a few months. So there's space available for that. And then we have one that's very unique to RDHU that Danny Botbill is doing for us: ultrasonics, aerosols, and COVID. Oh my. And that's like, she's going to have the specialized camera to show live demonstrations. And then we have another one with Anna Louise, the latest innovation in technology, airflow and perio-flow for the debridement of biofilm. And that's in November, that's November 13th. Danny's was November 20th. The Fall in Love with the Process of Care workshop, which so many people really should take that one as well. That's with Carrie and Beth, and that starts in December 1st. And some of these are, 1 hour, 3 hours, and others are 6 hours, and they're held over 3 different nights type of thing. So all the information is found on the RDHU website. And then we have Carrie's dad, which is he's doing one for us, which is more important, effective communication, or the procedures we do. And that's in November as well, starting.
That would be Dr. James Highland. And he's a fabulous dancer, and he's one of dentistry's best friends. So I highly recommend catching his as well.
Oh, he's great. Both of you, you just have so many, Carrie, I'm talking about you right now, you and your dad, just with all of your analogies and different ways that you can describe and help educate using all your different analogies is amazing. So we're thrilled to have him on with us. And then for our Ontario dental hygienists, we've got a practice profile workshop coming up with myself and Beth, where people who are doing the QA test, the practice profile is a great course for you. And then again, we're doing our QA workshop weekend, which is fabulous, and that's in December. So yeah, there's a lot of great things coming up, and I think today was awesome. And then having, go to the OrVital webinar and get the extra layering of learning for Dr. Kammer, what's going on, today. You can use the OrVital one, and all those other recommendations that you gave us will be fabulous for their extra layering of learning to really help deepen the learning, and so that we can apply it to our practice and also use it in our learning portfolio for those who are practicing in provinces where we get to have a learning portfolio. So yeah, there's lots. So thank you so much for being with us, everybody. And thank you for being our guest. That was fabulous. But I do want to hear you sing your song, I watched it on YouTube. What is it?
Before I sing my song, I want to just give some props to some of my favorite Canadian rock bands. I was always a big Loverboy fan. Now that's gonna take you way back. Nobody remembers the band Triumph. But they had yeah. All right. And okay, yeah. Oh my gosh, they were good. And let's see. And Aldo Nova is Canadian, I believe, as well, right? And he had this big hit back in the MTV video days called Fantasy, I think it was. And he's and of course, who doesn't love Celine Dion? Okay, let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So all right. So yeah, I went to American Idol and I auditioned, and they were trying to shoo me away at the door because I was over the age of 28, and they said, we have a cutoff. And they said, and I said, yeah, well, I saw that pants on the ground guy. And I said, you occasionally let novelty people. And I said, I'm a dentist, I've got a song. And anyway, long story short, they let me audition in the line where all you're doing is filling out the forms. So they said, well, all right, this big bouncer guy comes down, he goes, oh, you're a dentist and you sing? Start singing. And it's like, whoa, because the room was very quiet. And everybody was filling out their forms, all nervous about auditioning. Tomorrow would be the big day at the arena with 10,000 people. So I figured like, okay, well, he just told me to sing and nobody's singing in here and I'm going to scare the heck out of everybody well, all right, I better do it like I'm on the front of a Broadway stage. So I started out with my rap and it goes, get out the brush, everybody. It's time to brush because you're about to lose your teeth. Up in here, up in here. Started out with gum disease. Up in here, up in here. Drops the body to its knees. Up in here, up in here. So we gotta get you a toothbrush. Rays of sunshine will appear and chase the dark clouds away. We gotta get you a toothbrush. The joy will astound you. This new world has found you now. Friends of mine, hey, the time is now to break those shackles that hold us down. Join me now as we reach up high, touch the sky. I can't lie. We feel the power growing in our soul. New energy is gonna take control because we're gonna get you a toothbrush. Rays of sunshine will appear and chase those dark clouds away. We're gonna get you a toothbrush. And now that I've helped you, help someone else too. Anna, Louise, Beth, Kathleen, Carrie, you guys are amazing. Thank you for letting me be on your show, and love you, Canada. And I loved it when it was at the Raptors won the big NBA championship. I love Canada. My sister's up there, so I guess I'll go visit her one of these days once we're allowed to.
Yeah.
So peace and love from Madison, Wisconsin.
So much. It was so great to be here with you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Carrie, do you want to mention the next show?
Sure. Our next show is coming up next month, and it's going to be on December the 4th. So keep your eyes and ears out. The details will be coming out very shortly, but we're excited. It is set up for December the 4th. Take care, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
All right. Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
That's
All right, I'm gonna
Thank
signing off.
All right. Signing off, everyone. Goodbye.
How'd we do?
Bye.
We do okay? Did we get-
I thought it was great.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
amazing.
all right.
Yeah, that was very good. It's